riding through this. What the?
All right. You think I should redo that?
I don't know what to say.
All right. So today we're going to be doing a Sons of Anarchy character tier list. It is both of our all-time favorite show now. So I'm sure if you're watching this, you enjoy the show too and have seen it. So let's try to rank some of these characters. We have perfect, great, good, bad, but well written, which I think is an important one because I mean there's a lot of characters like that. I don't know if any of the characters are just plain bad, maybe a few, but yeah. So we have plain bad as well, indifferent, and don't remember. Sorry, it may be kind of hard to see on the camera. It's kind of blurry the way my software records it. But yeah, I'm mostly going to leave this to her because I've talked about the show before on the channel, and this is her first watch through for it. So let's start with Abel. Where do you think Abel goes?
I think it's fucked up for me to say that the kid's not perfect, but he's not perfect. I would probably just stick him in great. I was hesitant about the kids' storylines because you never see really Jax with their sons, but obviously Abel became a huge part of the story, so I'm going to stick him in great.
Okay. Yeah.
Especially in the beginning. I mean, they had a whole season dedicated to him, which was probably one of the worst seasons, but, you know, the Irish one.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the end where he really, like, you know, made an impact on everything, and without him it wouldn't have ever happened. So.
Yeah, I've heard people say that they, like, messed up the timeline with aging him up, like, he shouldn't be this age, but I'm also fine with it because I see the importance because the whole story revolves around, you know, Jax and what he does and how it influences his kids. And so you really needed to have him, you know, just beyond being a baby and not knowing what's going on to see how that actually affects him. And I think that was displayed great in the final season. And then we have Wes. I believe this was Wes or Zobel, right?
Zobel's right-hand man, whatever the fuck his name was.
Was it Wes? I don't remember, but yeah, White Hate. Let's just call him Mr. White Hate.
Mr. White Hate. I mean, obviously he's a bad character, but I didn't dislike him because I felt kind of bad for him sometimes because Zobel was, you know, moving all these pieces behind his back, which, you know, like obviously part of any gang or MC or whatever, you gotta have trust, and there was no trust there. So
yeah, I did like that how he was.
I think I would just put him in indifferent just because he was so minute.
Okay. That's good.
But yeah, Alvarez. Great. I want to put him in perfect, but he's not quite there, but I will put him in great. I really enjoyed his character, and I didn't disagree with pretty much any decision he ever made, so pretty rational president for the Lions. I enjoyed seeing him.
Yeah, and you get even more of him in Lions, so you get more attached, but yeah, the thing about him, I think, and a lot of all the gang bosses, I think, for the Chinese and the black, you know, you would expect them to be kind of off the handle because they're obviously like the enemies or just opposing teams for our main characters, but they're all rational, you know, pretty, you know, normal guys.
I think they just know the balance of the streets, and they're not just, you know, low-life criminals. They do think things out, although some of their plans may not be well thought out or super detailed like Jax's. I mean, they're still doing what they think is best, so I don't really dislike any of the, like you said, the big gang guys, but anyway.
Yeah, because I think a lot of shows would have just made Alvarez like crazy off the wall, like, you know, Mexican guy, just stereotypical, what you'd expect. Yeah, there you go. So let's see, we got Marks, August.
I think I'm gonna put him in good.
Really?
Or yeah. I want to put him in great, but I can't because I almost think that Pope it was one of the greater ones.
Yeah, I did like Mark. I mean, because the thing is, you have to look from we're on Jax's side or the Sun's side no matter what.
But I still feel for him.
Yeah, if you look at things from Mark's perspective, he's like, wow, Jax, you fucked me over. I know you fucked me over.
And you lied about fucking me over, and you're still fucking me over as I'm threatening to fuck you back over.
Yeah, so Mark didn't necessarily do anything wrong. He just reacted in the way that was right from his perspective. He was just
an obstacle to Jax, so he didn't really give a fuck about shitting on their relationship or how much power he really had, but I didn't really get enough personality from Marks as I did from Pope, I feel like, and more of the dynamic that Pope and Jax had for the, like, mentor type of dynamic. So that's the only reason I'm going to put him in good, because of his predecessor, Pope. I'm going to stick him in great.
Yeah, it was kind of sad how he wanted to move up in the ranks, but he couldn't because of Pope. He was just always accepted as what he was. And then Bobby.
Oh, man, Bobby.
He's tough for me, too.
I want to put him in between good and great. Like, he's almost great, and I thought he was really great in the beginning seasons, but they really just watered his character out at the end, and I didn't see him as much as I wanted to, and I really liked him in the first few seasons.
Yeah,
so
that's why I say good, too, because, you know, if it did feel like he definitely got forgot about throughout season 6 and 7, and it also took away, I think, a lot from his death, where his death could have been more impactful.
Yeah, because we weren't seeing him as much. It wasn't, I mean, I was still really sad to see it, even though I knew it was happening, because spoilers, but still, I just, they cut him out a little too much for me, because I really liked his presence.
Yeah, and that was a little problem with the story, because I feel like they had to, because with Bobby being such a morally correct character, I feel like they had to shut him up
from all of that.
Yeah, otherwise this shit wouldn't get done.
Right. Ugly.
I mean, I don't fucking care.
I would stick her in indifferent. Although I do like the conversation she had with Unser about, you know, she didn't want to say anything because she knows the balance that Sam Crow keeps in Charming. Although that balance was really relevant in the first few seasons, it really wasn't in the end, but she still kind of respected that boundary. So, you know, I like aspects of certain characters, but they're just not big enough for me to put them in any other category besides indifferent. So that's just where she's going to go.
Borowski?
Bad, but well written, I think.
Really?
Yeah, because I always enjoyed seeing him on the screen. He was really funny, and I never would have thought that he was going to fuck them over.
It irritated me. I mean, but he was supposed
to.
But
yeah, that's why I'm saying he did what he was supposed to do well.
Okay, you know? I would put him in just plain bad, just because, I don't know, he just wasn't one of those, I guess maybe I should change this from, because I think they're all well written, but I'm going to say bad, but
tolerable,
likable, too. I think that would be what that would be for me. And Borowski, I don't know if that messes up where you want to put it, but...
Yeah, kind of in the middle of both of them. Like, I don't think he was... It's just because that category I have saved for some special people. So,
yeah, me too.
And I don't think that he quite goes in there, but he's not quite a good guy.
His death was funny as
maybe,
shit, though.
Maybe I should just put him in indifferent, but yeah, I did like his death.
Hey, how's it going, Handsome Jack? Boom! And then, I don't remember her
Sweet
name.
butt. Cherry, yeah. Indifferent. Don't really give a fuck about
I feel
her.
like, so we were supposed to get more from her and Half Sack as well, but that actor had problems off camera, so they had to get rid of him. So who knows what they would have done with her, but you know, we did get a little bit more of her without Half Sack.
I mean, I did think her story was a little sad because I'm rewatching it again now, seeing her for the first time in Jury's tribe. She's talking to that other girl that Jax picked up randomly, that random ass bitch at the gas station, the dude who was sitting on his bike, his girlfriend. She's explaining to her what, I guess, what being a crow eater is and how it works. And the girl's like, so you just sleep with whoever they tell you to sleep with? She's like, yeah, because one of them will realize one day that I'll make a great old lady. So I'll just been doing it for 3 years, sucking dick and serving beers and keep doing it. Like,
yeah.
So sad, but whatever. You're not that important.
Yeah.
We're going to stick that motherfucker in perfect. Yeah. Because I love Chibi.
Yeah, I like Chips too. His loyalty to Jax is just, it's great. So, being Jax is right.
I have a sucker for the Irish and the Scottish too, so it's just a win-win because Cassidy was my favorite in Preacher. So
that's right. Chucky,
we got to put him in perfect. He's just so innocent. He's that comedic relief that we need sometimes, and that innocence that surprisingly never gets tainted, even though he got his fucking fingers chopped off. He's always got that smile on his face, always trying to help people out, and even though, he knows everybody thinks of him as a joke, they run through him, they use him, he's still there,
That's what I was going to say. So they could have very easily just turned him into a joke, kind of roll your eyes when you see him, but they also... Kursar did a good job at softening him up to where he is aware, like, okay, to you guys, I'm a joke, and I'm accept that that's what I have to be.
I accept that.
But I accept that. But I'm more than that too. Whenever I need to be with like Gemma and things like that, and that was smart of them to show that because, like I said, it would have been easy just to have him be a running gag.
I don't want to say this like get canceled or anything, but he's almost like that handicapped family member where every time you see him, you just want to.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, he kind of is.
And then
bad,
Clay,
but well written. I wouldn't be put likable, man.
I don't know. I mean, he still for those first few seasons was such a big plot. point for the show, and I understand. He's one of those people where I can believe the decisions that he makes from his perspective, and I understand why he does them from his perspective, but they're still wrong.
They're just to the extreme.
And shitty. Yeah, so. But he also did have his heart. I think he truly did love Gemma, and maybe even did love Jax to a degree at one point in time, for certain reasons. But again, just things happened, and that he just couldn't avoid, that turned him, more and more towards the bad, kind of like a lot of the characters on the show.
Colette.
Yeah.
Indifferent. It was nice seeing Jax interact with another woman after Tara died, but...
he was fucking this bitch before Tara died, though.
Well, they were interacting in a different way, not just sex, but she was saying, like, to Gemma, I'm not ever going to get married to him. I see what happened to his wives. I'm all right,
Yeah.
But...
So I heard that Kurt Sutter put her in the show as like a troll to the fans, kind of, because the fans were always like saying like, "Oh, Gemma wants to fuck Jax." Like that's
his mommy thing.
Which I never really saw it quite to that point. But yeah, this was like Jax getting his mommy issues out, which
and then Gemma even said that you fucking your mommy issues or whatever. I don't remember how she said it. She didn't say that, but she did say something about your mommy fix or something like that, and that was just weird. So. Anyway,
I would probably put her in good because I like the actress. I like her in Fear the Walking Dead.
The fuck does that have to do with this show?
Fear the Walking Dead sucks. And then let's see. This was this wasn't Galen, was it? This was he was the guy who just kept getting away with everything with the Irish. Connor, yeah. We need to put him in his own category that just says luckiest character in all of Sons of Anarchy.
Like literally got his retirement on a silver platter. Here you go. Here's what you wanted, but safer.
So many times he thought he was dead, but I'll just say indifferent with him.
I'll just say indifferent too.
I was surprised with how much I ended up liking Darby, and I liked his turnaround, and I could believe it, and I think the actor portrays it well.
Even in the beginning, rewatching the first season now, he still was, even though he was a Nazi, he's still a good guy, rational, level-headed person, even after Jax beat the absolute snot out of someone in the Nord's bar for selling crack to Wendy while she was pregnant. He still was like, hey man, I get it, you gotta do what you. He wasn't mad at them for, there's just that level of understanding.
Obviously he wasn't like a real racist either, because he ends up marrying like a Mexican chick. And it always seemed like it was one of those things that he did just to fit in somewhere, but he really wasn't all about it. Because I remember when the Zabels come in, he's like, yeah, I'm a Nazi, but I'm not like that.
White-powered.
Yeah. I'm not that racist, Like, I'm not one of you guys, so. Hale?
I liked Hale's character. I liked watching him struggle with, trying to bring down the justice hammer and also trying to find the balance, because like he said, the Sam Crow just keeps slipping through the legal cracks, and sometimes there is just nothing that you can do about it. Although cops, you think they have all this power, they can't just slap cups on someone and stick them in a jail cell. So it was interesting watching that power struggle. I think they got rid of him. Obviously, I know why they got rid of him, but I would just say
just
good.
For the amount of time that he was in it. If he had to develop more, he could have been.
I don't even know who the fuck that is.
This was the son that took Abel. Remember, he was the guy's son, the Irish guy's son.
This guy's son that they killed?
Yeah.
Indifferent. I don't remember. Put him in don't remember, because I don't remember shit about.
Eli?
Great.
Yeah.
I really liked Eli's character.
Very strong actor too. All the actors are great, but for even the side roles, like Eli, sometimes I'm like, damn, he's really putting in the work.
Yeah, watching him, find out about his wife, and then, you seen him go through this like spell where he looked terrible because he was so depressed, losing his wife and his unborn kid, trying to nail down Sam Crow for fucking anything, and then watching him come back from that, clean himself up, get his life back together. I enjoyed everything, especially his last scene. That was really hard hitting. He was a great actor.
Very, very tragic end for him. And then what was this guy? This guy was not the mayor.
Oswald.
Was he? Oswald.
Elliot Oswald.
I'm just ultimately indifferent.
Yeah, I mean, I like him. I don't dislike him. I think that he was still pretty humble for the amount of money that he had, because he pretty much owned everything in fucking Charming.
Yeah.
But I did like how his turnaround at the end, where even though the Sons were blackmailing him for a very long time, he still wanted to help them and acknowledge their presence in the community. So yeah, indifferent, but more on the good side.
Yeah.
But not quite good.
Yeah. I mean, with how long he was in the show, I was expected to like him more, I guess. But for the role that he played, I don't know why I would. And then, was this Ethan? Zobel, this guy? Yeah, just the way his character goes out is kind of like a stain to me. The way he's just kind of written off screen, but, you know, I guess it kind of plays more to real life. And I'm sure there are guys like this in real life who just do slip away by the system and things like that. So
yeah, I almost want to put him in indifferent, because I don't know.
I'm fine with that.
I don't know. He was always really annoying when I seen him, which is obviously, like, you know, bad but well written. But like you said, he was only in there for a season, and then his exit was so fucking stupid. So. Yeah. I don't even know who that is.
I think that this was the guy whose son shot up the school, right? Or his this was the boyfriend.
The one who
of the guy.
died? No.
He shot up the school.
That wasn't him.
Okay, well, just put him. I don't remember that. I don't care. Either way, I just
Jimmy.
Put him. Oh, yeah.
Bad but likable.
You liked him? I thought his grudge against Jax was so fucking petty and stupid sometimes.
Yeah, I was more thinking about his storyline with Chips, not really with Jax. So yeah, I guess that would. Yeah, I didn't like how he just had because he was young. Jax was young.
No, because he got the priest killed. He got the priest killed.
Yeah, but he was also saying, like, you don't even know how this business works. Like, you've barely been in it. Like,
yeah, but eventually Jax kind of confronts him, and he's like, I mean, what the fuck is this about, man? He's like, you're just pissed off because I got the priest killed, and that's why you're saying all this bullshit. But that priest
literally did that himself. Like, he didn't. Yeah.
So I didn't like him. I think you're thinking of this guy. This guy had this stuff with Chibs.
Oh, yeah. That's Galen. That's Jimmy.
Yeah. And then Gemma, this is a big one here.
Where's the wish you'd rot in hell forever tab?
I'll change this back to well written. How about that? So Gemma is a complicated one. I cannot make the argument that she is, you gotta
put her in plain bad for me. I'm sorry. There's no wiggle room for me on that.
Okay.
There just isn't.
I just, again, she's just like Clay with that, where I can understand her decisions and I believe them and I know where she's coming from, but still, she did some wrong shit. But I know that she didn't mean to, and we're obviously talking about the bulk of the ending of season 7. Killing Tara was, inexcusable, and she should have had control of herself. I don't care if she was on drugs or what she thought, that was fucked up. But, still, I think that great performance, great written character for me. So.
She did give a great performance, and she, even in this first season rewatching it, she's saying that even when she said, quote, to Tara, in the first season, and I'm only on episode like 4 or 5 right now, she was like, I won't stop protecting Jax until I'm cold and hard.
Yikes.
So,
yeah,
and I'll do whatever I have to do. So
I respect why she loves her family so much, but she loves them so much it's to a fault.
But it's the fault is her perception of protection, because Jax obviously was willing to do any of that, but just because she didn't want it is where there was an issue. Anything that she doesn't agree with is the issue. So I can't.
I would still put her in well written.
I thought I liked her, but there was just still some things that just way heavier. Like even in the first season, where she was so protective of Abel against Wendy, saying, you're never gonna see him. I'd probably do the same thing if I were a grandma and my grandson almost died. I'd probably tell Wendy the same thing. You're never gonna see that fucking boy. You almost killed him. You obviously don't fucking love him, but handing her a giant ass vial of meth and threatening her life and just all this other stuff. No.
Okay, and then this guy was like a Nazi guy. I don't remember.
Don't remember.
Yeah.
Half sack. Good. I liked Half Sack a lot.
Just wanted more from him.
But I understand why they didn't, and I was so hyped to see a fucking like a prospect level up scene, and I didn't even get to fucking see that until like the very end with Philip, the fat guy. Well, I don't even think I saw it. I think we just came back from them coming out of prison and he had a cut on, so.
But if you look into the behind the scenes stuff, then it makes more sense why his story was kind of cut short like that. But Happy.
Great. I like Happy.
Yeah, me too. It's just a great example, and a lot of shows miss this. Walking Dead is one of them, where you got a character in the background because he doesn't really have much lines or any story, but just a little bit here and there every episode, and then he can become a favorite. A mainstay. It just takes a little bit over time, But a lot of shows just background characters only see him or hear from him when you absolutely need to. Yeah. And then I was indifferent about this.
Yeah.
This guy irritated the fuck out of me, but that was just kind of a storyline that was weak again. Season 3 weak story.
Agreed.
But yeah,
I was gonna say I didn't like that storyline because even with the whole when he almost had the chance to kill Tara, I was like any other person in that same exact scenario because Tara had killed his girlfriend or wife or whatever. Any other gangster in that scenario would have killed Tara in 2 seconds without even fucking thinking about it, Yeah. And this guy was supposed to be off the rails and he didn't do it. I know why he didn't because we had to keep Tara around, but you shouldn't have put that scene in at all. It was just a thing to keep the audience on their toes, like, oh my god, is Tara dead? But
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe we should do a seasons tier list. I didn't see one, but I think they're all. I think 4 to 7 for me is pretty much up here. 7 maybe a little bit below because it was kind of messy. But 4, 5, and 6 are all even and great. Mm-hmm. And then 7, like I said, just got a little bit messy for different reasons. But still, the way it ends up can kind of elevate it to those 4 for me. And then 1 and 2 are even for me as good setup. And then 3 is just, below that because it was very spaced out. Just as a brief thing with that. Henry Lynn, poor bastard.
I'm just going to put him in good. Yeah. I liked Henry Lynn, and I felt so fucking bad for that man.
So frustrated if I was him, dude.
Yeah.
Just plain bad.
Just plain bad. Good God.
Just a skank, bro.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but again, she played the role that she was supposed to play. But, she was super irritating.
The other Hale, I remember seeing him in the early seasons, but when I think back about, his actual whole presence, I'm just, indifferent about it. Yeah. I know that he kind of got yanked and pulled in certain ways, but whatever.
Should we save Jax to the end, you think?
Yeah, let's just save him for the end.
All right,
Jimmy, I liked his storyline with Chibs a lot, and with,
I would say.
What the fuck was his wife and daughter's name?
Carrie Ann
and...
I don't remember his wife's name.
The one that Gemma was actually scared of. I don't remember. Anyway, I like their storyline, and I like the way that he went out with Chibs. I think that was so fucking redeeming.
Wait, what? The way he went out with Chibs?
Yeah, Chibs killed him.
Yeah, but I never liked him, though. You did?
I liked his storyline with Chibs,
so you'd say bad but well written? Or what?
I don't even remember too much about his own thing, though, is the thing.
I would just say, again, because this was that Irish shit that I wasn't a fan of, I would say indifferent or just plain bad at best for me.
I would just put indifferent, yeah.
Juice. Juicy.
Juice. Oh, man. I don't even know what to say about Juice. I loved Juice in the first seasons, but his fear just clouded so much of his judgment, and fear over stupid shit.
It's very sad.
And it is sad because it's realistic. People overthink like that all the fucking time, but he literally makes the worst decisions and pays the ultimate prices, and it's.
And I just wish that the club would have had more sympathy for him, but at the same time, I also wish that Juice would have had enough common sense to see, that the club would have been fine with a lot of the things that were going on had he just been forthcoming, to begin with. But again, I feel like the club was way too hard on Juice, and ultimately he's just a very tragic, sad story, and just a victim of circumstance in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
So I would just say he would have been maybe great at one time, but the way they took his story, he just kind of
I agree with that because I really enjoyed his character in the beginning, but
that last episode with him, man, that was a great display of depression. He completely checked out.
Just let me finish my pie, man.
Yeah. All right.
Stahl, bad but well written. She
really
irritated
you're gonna put her
the
there,
fuck.
but you're not gonna put Gemma there.
Well, yeah, because Stahl irritated the absolute fuck out of me, and she was a dirty cop, but she didn't just, I don't know. She did her bad things for greed, for money, for promotion, which I get, but I can't get behind doing it for love, what you think they want you to do. Like, I can't.
I thought Stahl was a piece of shit a lot of times. I don't think
I
that she
think
really
so,
cared
too.
about the club the way that she did, because she
No,
did
'cause
things
she
to
was
get him
only
killed
doing
and
it
she
for
didn't give a
herself.
fuck, and that was shitty. Again, I do
But
like...
I thoroughly enjoyed her presence in the show as one of the cops or whatever, yeah. Because, I mean, all of the other cops I was really just indifferent about, except for Jerry, whatever the fuck her name is.
Jerry?
Yeah.
It's like, that can't be right.
I'm all pretty indifferent about all of them except for Unser and Jerry. But I liked her storyline. I liked how she went out with Opie, you know. I like how she didn't quite... Like, the reason that I like her storyline so much is because every time they send a Fed in, and this is pretty much in any show, the issue that a Fed has is they don't know the dynamic of the small community that they're coming into. And Hale and Unser and everyone was trying to warn her, you don't know what you're doing. And, you know, inevitably she got Donna killed, got herself killed in the same way, and I think that that's an appropriate downfall, well written for her, because it's just how it is. You don't touch base in that scene and understand everything, and it's just how it goes.
Yeah, something I liked with her too is you would expect like a character written the way she is to just be a hard ass, you know, I don't know, dyke bitch the whole time, but there were times whenever she would soften up, like whenever shit got too close, like Opie trying to kill her one of the first times, and or whatever, and she would break down and cry and be like, okay, I've stepped a little too close to the sun, I'm scared now.
Yeah, she's not like full gangster mode where she's like guns blazing, don't give a fuck, I'm untouchable. You know, so. And
she was smart like Jax. I like how she had her kind of back and forth with him. Don't remember this guy.
He's one of the isn't he the wife of the Jax's dad's affair? The husband of the
the
new
he got
husband?
pushed off the roof by Clay, right?
Yeah. Indifferent, don't remember, whatever.
I mean, I would say almost bad just for the shit that he kind of caused and led them around with that shit in season 3, you know? That was irritating. And then this guy as well, just plain bad. Irritated the fuck out of me. I don't care how much you try to soften him up. Still irritated
he kept
the
saying,
fuck out of me.
oh, well, you know, we think it's best if we put your son in there. You don't get to make that decision. I don't give a fuck how involved or how much you think you're saving that fucking kid. You don't get to make that goddamn decision. I was so fucking frustrated. Or at least let him see him again. Like, if you really thought that maybe Jax would understand, then you should at least let him see his son and see how, you know, happy and safe he was, where he was, instead of fucking all of that. Nah. That was annoying.
Irritating as fuck, man. If I was Jax, I'd have pulled the trigger on him.
That's what makes a good character to me, is their fucking rationale. If you don't have any goddamn rationale, I'm not gonna goddamn like you, so.
This dude who can't pronounce his fucking girlfriend's name, Tara. You ever notice how he always says it like that? Nobody else says it like that. Tara. Loved him on The Shield, by the way. But, yeah, he was just plain bad, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was just a fucking stalker
crazy
loser who had nothing better to do with his time or his life.
He literally tried to rape Tara, so, you know.
Just, no.
Kozik? Or was it Kozik? Doesn't sound right. I can never remember this guy's name.
I don't want to put him in good because he didn't have so much screen time. But I don't want to put him anywhere else.
His storyline with Tig was like one of those things where it's like, it's so stupid that you gotta kind of.
But it's so realistic. I mean, people do hold grudges like that. I mean,
I like the actor, man. He's a perfect actor to display that. Like, I don't like him, but I like him at the same time. You know what I mean? He just has that, I don't know, presence about him.
That's how he was in Bates Motel. Yeah. Even though I knew he was raping, you know, his sister and stuff, I still felt bad for him at times. He's a good actor. He's got that face.
That, perfect. I mean, and he was like that in The Shield too. He was bad but good, and then in this he killed a dog, but still you're supposed to not like him, but you do. So yeah, he plays that role well. But again, like you said, we didn't really hardly see much of him. He's just kind of like an Easter egg type character.
Leroy, don't remember, indifferent. I'm
thought
only just
what
now
Roy
seeing him
was
again.
like with Alvarez. If I mean, anytime I saw him, he was still rational like
I just
Alvarez.
don't really remember.
All right, we'll put him in don't remember Leroy, but maybe on the
Put
second
that
watch
motherfucker in plain bad. Every time
Yeah.
I seen or heard him, it was like listening to nails on a fucking chalkboard, or like somebody was ripping my fucking fingernails off one by one. I could not. And I understand how bad he wanted Sam Crow to go down, but I just felt so fucking bad for Tara, man.
Yeah.
And
And Otto too.
Yeah.
I don't remember what his name was, the marshal. But yeah, I feel bad for him with the sister and things, but still you can't ruin other people's lives just to get your revenge, I guess.
Yeah.
And then this was an Irish guy. I'm just gonna don't remember you really. He looks like a fucking vampire. I remember him because of that. I love Potter, man.
I'm gonna put him in good.
Yeah, I love Potter. They got the picture with the sex doll.
Yeah, I liked how weird he was and how like I mean there are people like that. They're very like
it's like autistic, I think.
Yeah, but my favorite part was at the end where he just gave up, where he was like, "Well, CIA's shutting us down, so pack it up, boys, let's go." Like, just did not give a fuck, man. Just another day. Yeah, all this hard time in work, that big ass room with all them pictures and all them red lines, trying to figure out who's connected to what, and then he's like,
"You'd expect him to be
all
so
right,
tore
brother,
up, but
I'm done."
Yeah, you'd expect him to be so tore up, but he's so like smart, I guess, and logical that he was just kind of like,
I'm not gonna win here. Might as well just step away and not give myself the stress. So
he's weird, but he was good, and you see again more of him in Mines, which you come to like more.
Luann?
Yeah.
Indifferent, I think. I mean, I liked her dynamic with Gemma because she was Gemma's best friend and obviously Otto's wife, but she was also fucking Bobby, but only to keep her dirty secret that she was hiding her profits from the club so she didn't have to give them all the money that she was making. But yeah, I would just stick her in indifferent. I mean, didn't love her, didn't hate her, but I don't want to put her in good either. Just, yeah, but that's just what I'll say about her.
Yeah. I mean,
this dude.
too. Cartel guy, CIA guy. I'd say indifferent with him.
Yeah.
I don't really remember much from him. But I mean, I know who he is.
Lila. I almost want to put her in perfect, but I can't, so I'm just going to stick her in great. I really liked Lila. Felt a lot of sympathy for her. Especially after, Opie and having to raise Opie's kids. I thought that was so depressing because she had to go to Jax and say, I don't know what to do. I can't do this. I can't even raise my own kid, and now I have to raise 2 more kids, And obviously they gave her that family dynamic, but I still feel bad for her because she only just got into that life with all of them. So it wasn't like, oh, I have this long, everlasting bond with these people that I can trust. These are just a bunch of whores and gangsters in a bar to her, and you have to trust them to watch your kids.
And he's a sex worker, and most people have like I don't know if it's a stereotype or what, but just image of them, they're stupid, they're not likable, they're not family-oriented people. But you do get that with her.
Sweet.
You can soften up to her, even though most people would have that
very
judgment
sweet,
with somebody
down to heart. I really liked her
line of
patience
work.
that she had with Opie, even just about sleeping in the same bed, like in Donna's old room, having sex, raising the kids. I mean, she was just great mother, great porn star, great director, great everything. I mean, she's just great. I like her. I'm gonna put her in good, and I feel bad for her because I feel like she felt like a responsibility to Tara, because at first, they obviously got off on the wrong foot saying that she shouldn't be getting involved with all that shit, but you find out later on it's because she also was involved in something like that. So she saw herself in younger Tara and trying to protect her from herself and what she might inevitably get mixed up into. So I felt bad for her because she was fighting a losing battle the whole time.
Kind of like the equivalent to Nero for Jax, I feel like. But yeah, we never saw her react to Tara's death though, because she left right before Tara died, so we never saw her again. Been nice to see her have a reaction to that. Again, from the Irish storyline, I'm just indifferent, I think, on her. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the letters she gave Jax were a really big impact on the story, but that doesn't make me like her character any more or less.
No, it's just season 3 was just rough. I don't remember this guy.
I don't remember him either.
Really. I mean, I recognize his face, but
Montez.
This little short dude who was always around.
Yeah.
This is the guy who killed Bobby. I liked how he had his respect for Bobby.
No, he didn't kill Bobby. August killed Bobby.
Oh, okay. Well, he tortured Bobby. But still, I liked how he respected Bobby, and again, he was just another guy doing his job for once.
Yeah, he was just doing his job.
So,
He didn't have any personal grudges, and he was saying, you know, that he respected him because he knew that he was in the army as well, or military or whatever. So
just kind of indifferent. I think.
Yeah, because I don't want to put him quite in bad, because he's not a bad dude. He was just doing his job. He's just doing what he had to do. So Nero, great.
What?
Perfect. I'm sorry.
I would have said yeah, okay. Because Nero is, I love Nero because he's he's the stepdad, he's the dad that Jax should have had, probably would have had if JT was still alive, you know, reformed.
And they literally could have been the perfect family had Gemma not fucked everything up, because Nero would have kept Gemma in the perfect amount of check.
Yeah.
For everything, and Tara was obviously Jax's rock, and if they could have gotten out of guns and kept that going, and even then also had the farm, that literally would have been the perfect story dynamic for their family. But obviously something had to go wrong, and I felt so bad for Nero finding out, having to lie, having to work behind Jax's back, having to work under Jax, having to be his bitch boy sometimes, not being kept in the loop about things. Like, he
put up with so much. He had so much right to go off sometimes, and he didn't. He's like a splash of cold water, I think, when he comes into the story, because you get so many characters that act so, like, rash and are in such a lifestyle. But whenever the character's like, yeah, we're going to go kill this person, like, whoa, you know, that's fucked up. We're going to go kill this person, you know? Not quite like that, but he just has such normal morals. But at the same time, I don't think he's like Bobby, where you kind of view him as, like, weak because of that. Because he
knows when shit has to get done, and we've seen him pull the trigger when he needs to, like with Darvani. He was very sad when he had to kill Darvani, but he knew that he had to.
Yeah.
But
so he can be badass whenever he needs to, but he just knows that that's not always the answer.
Darvani, but Darvani's
I know who you're talking about.
Boyfriend, husband, or whatever.
But yeah, so Nero is one of my absolute favorite characters. And the actor portrays him, does such a good job with him as well.
Yeah, he was in not Oranges, but How to Get Away with Murder, and he was really good on there too. Opie.
I know you're gonna love the shit out of Opie. Most people do.
I gotta put him in Perfect.
Really?
Yeah. Watching him struggle with first, you know, obviously getting out of prison and his family struggles and trying to balance his two families, the club and his actual family, just a very sad moral fight within. And I know that Donna had her pain, but Opie was dealing with a different kind of pain, where he didn't want to sever any ties that he had with the sons, but he also didn't want to lose his wife and his kids. And then obviously with Lila, and then his death in the prison, sacrificing himself for the club like that. I got this, brother, like that.
Yeah, Ryan Hurst, great actor, and as well as Opie's story is really sad and tragic, and he, like, I guess Nero, kind of puts up and eats a lot of shit. But there was just always something where I felt like there's a little bit more story left to tell with Opie. It always felt like, and I've heard other people say that too, like he just got taken out so early. I understand why they took him out, to further Jax's descent into his final, you know, resting place. But yeah, there just always felt like there needed to be a little bit more between him and Jax for considering the impact that he had on Jax. Whenever Jax lost him, I felt like there should have been more beforehand.
Right, you wanted to see more of that, like, brotherly bond.
Yeah, because, you know, I mean, because at the end of the day, I still feel like, I feel like fucking Chibs was just as close, or if not closer by the end of it, than Opie was.
I feel like they were on the same level, but we just didn't see as much that we wanted to with Opie. So they probably could have, you know, put some more screen time with them, just having conversations together. But Otto, good God, where is the sorry son of a bitch category?
Yeah. I guess you just gotta say
good or great. Just one of the good
he
categories.
He deserves to be in great. Just for all the shit that he put up with. He never really did anything like bad. He's just something for you to sit there and pity. That's all Otto is. And also, you know, this is Kurt Sutter, you know, so he deserves great.
I also loved his redemption with
the show.
With killing the marshal and then killing himself. I was glad to see him die, which is sad to say. That's how fucking depressing his storyline was.
But great storytelling nonetheless.
Phil! I liked Phil. I just put him in good. I always liked Phil, and I don't know why. I had a soft spot for Phil. I have a soft spot for all the prospects.
Yeah, she does. I was just indifferent about Phil. Piney?
Piney! Great. I like
Right?
Piney a lot.
Nah, man, not me. I would have put Piney in just good or indifferent,
No,
honestly.
I like Piney a lot because even now rewatching the first season, I love his conversations that he has with Jax. I love the conversations that he has with Opie. You know, he was telling Jax, "You're such a spitting image of JT," and I love seeing you at this table. A lot of the times when you have something like that, there's always a power struggle between the fucking age difference. You know, seniority by age, they don't like to be ruled by the younger people. They think that they don't know, you know, how things work or you know, how to execute things the way that they should be executed. But Piney always had this utmost level of respect for Jax, which I really liked. Even if it was mostly from just who he was related to. I think Jax ended up, you know, living up to his dad's word a little bit sometimes. But I also liked his dynamic with Opie, telling him, you know, there's not really a conflict here with the club and your family. What you need to do is you need to grow a dick and take care of your business and stop bitching.
But that's the shit I didn't like about Piney either. He felt like he would always talk so much shit and expect so much shit out of Jax, but Piney wouldn't do a damn thing himself.
He's an old
and
man.
whenever he did, you know, I don't know. I just felt like Piney was just somebody kind of, because he was telling Jax shit that Jax already fucking knew, but he was still like, listen, son, you need to try hard. And he goes, I'm trying, Piney. God damn it. That's what I felt like. I would have been so annoyed if I was Jax with Piney.
I don't know. I feel the parent presence from Piney a lot, and feel a lot of sadness for him, obviously.
So this was Isabel's daughter. I think just indifferent.
Oh, the whore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
This guy, what's his name?
I don't want to say bad because he was just, you know, doing his job and he was only doing like literally eye for an eye with Tig. I know that was so fucking brutal, and that Tig killing his daughter, Vanessa, I think, was an accident, but good God, I mean.
Yeah, he deserved the revenge that he got.
I think I would put him in good because I like the dynamic he had with Jax too.
Yeah,
you know,
if you got Marks in there, you got to put him there too.
Yeah.
I like the way that Pope influenced Jax, like, to be a smarter gangster, you know, like he saw the potential in Jax, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about him. So this guy, don't
remember.
Rat Boy. I'll say just good, personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I didn't like in season 7, it felt like because of the lack of Tara, because of the lack of Clay, story threads that they had always throughout the series, they were trying to pad out the story with shit. So it felt like particularly his relationship with this girl was, I guess, in there to parallel like Wendy saying like, oh, it's going to be another me and Jax, you know, and I don't want that to repeat itself. But at the same time, you could have taken it out and I would have been completely, you know, it didn't impact
enough for it to really matter.
But the only thing I can say about Rat that I did like was his dynamic with Tig sometimes. So that's why he's
I have a soft spot for the prospects. So
Danny Trejo, man, big actor to have in here, but I don't know, I guess just indifferent.
Kind of indifferent. I mean, I know he was Cartel, but he didn't feel like Cartel. I mean, most of the time their conversations were pretty pleasant, and even when they were unpleasant, it was still just more like of a warning. It wasn't anything. I mean, Pope was doing harsher shit than Cartel was doing, but
he would kind of jump ahead sometimes. Like, I remember when Clay was trying to stop him from killing Tara, and he was like, well, you know, I have to. Why? I don't know, I just have to. Well,
because Clay was saying that she was a problem and that she might talk. So he was like, if you're saying she might talk, we can't give her the opportunity. So that was Clay's fault for, you know, yeah, you can say that to people, but you got to watch who you're saying it to. You're saying that you might need to take someone out to the cartel, and they're trying to cover their alliance with the CIA. I mean.
And then we have Mr. Marilyn Manson. Again, it's just so cool. It speaks to how good the show must have been at the time that they could have got some of these actors in there, like Danny Trejo, Marilyn Manson. Who else?
I mean, I liked his character. I liked all the strings he could pull in prison, but I still was just kind of indifferent about him. I didn't really. Yeah. I know that he was vital to the end story with, you know, getting information, getting the connections in Stockton and stuff, but like him himself,
I mean, he raped Juice. He showed Juice a good time, kind of. Like, that was kind of fucked up, though, that he raped him, but still, I guess he was nice about it, you know.
It's the dude who killed Eli's.
Frankie.
Yeah, just plain bad. He didn't have anything going for him.
This was Rat Boy's girlfriend. Yeah, it's something fucked with me. We talked about this. I swore to God, I swore she was a teenager, but I guess not. You know, whenever Rat's
I think she was still younger, but I don't think she was underage.
Yeah, but this was...
I think she might have like barely been 18 because she was obviously not going to school or nothing because she was helping taking care of them kids, but she was obviously much younger, so...
Still an interesting addition to the cast because this is the daughter of somebody that got killed on the highway. That's the homeless woman that JT, you know, fucked up on whenever he crashed on the highway. So she does kind of have a nice connection to the main story because of that. But yeah, seeing her in season 7 again with Rat Boy, it was like, we could take this out, yeah. But we just need to pad out the story. We can save Tara if you want to, but I know she's got to go in perfect.
No, we might as well just go because all of these characters in the end are pretty great characters.
Okay.
Like pretty important characters.
So
I have to put her in perfect. I feel so much sympathy for her.
I do too, but I mean, yeah,
and I don't think that she ever did anything wrong. I mean, she just always happened to be in these fucked up situations where she was trapped. I mean, she herself never really made any hard, bad, you know, decisions that were going to haunt her for the rest of her life. I mean, even with Cone, she didn't even really kill Cone. Jax did, but she still felt so much guilt over that and like PTSD and being involved in that life and then becoming a mother, you know, first with Abel, having to raise him as her own, and then having Thomas and still being in that life, fearing for her kids. I mean,
yeah,
it's a hard life of a mother.
Only thing she ever really did wrong was, I guess, love Jax, you know. That's really all she did, which is tragic. I found it a little bit frustrating towards the end, the way that, which I guess I get it from her perspective, kind of, but I thought it was a little frustrating the way she was, like, scared of Jax, like, you know, in season 6, right before she goes out. But I guess hearing what he did to Wendy, I guess that
was like the frosting on the cake. Because I mean, she knew, you know, what they did because he told her some of the things. He didn't want to tell her everything, but she knew what they did and what they were involved in. But whenever you see someone that you loved at one point and what you did just to keep them away or just to keep what you want, because she was trying to get custody of Abel and trying to, like, you know, go to the court and say that she was the real mom or whatever. I mean, just to protect that's scary to see the drastic measures he was going through. Yeah, no, he didn't kill her, but you might as well have, sticking a goddamn forcing her to get high after she'd been clean. I felt so bad for Wendy, and I know I didn't like Wendy in the beginning because, you know, of how bad of a junkie she was, but she really cleaned her shit up, got a good job, wanted to see her son, and seeing that go down was so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I can see why Tara was scared. She maybe might have not thought that she was gonna die, but she knew that it wasn't gonna be pretty, and she didn't know what the outcome was gonna be. She didn't know what Jax would be capable of if it meant protecting his sons, you know.
And this actress, I mean, you don't really see her in much anything else. I mean, I guess that's the case for a lot of these, but I just feel like I have to point it out. Sometimes she gave some performance where I was like, holy shit, man, she's putting in the fucking work for this. Where the fuck is she at? And other things, you know. She really did great on some scenes, you know. So yeah.
Her hand storyline was like super fucking depressing about.
I know sometimes her performance would like break my heart a little bit. I'm pretty like, you know, I don't know, I'm not really like that, but I was like, man, this shit's kind of sad, man. Am I gonna well up over here, you know?
Tiggy, rewatching Perfect. I'm putting him in Perfect first of all. Rewatching, I'm seeing just how fucking careless he is and how messy and how much of a fucking liability he is. Like, he's really just kind of a nuisance because they're always cleaning up his shit. But I still love him. Yeah,
he's the funniest character for sure.
Loyal.
Weird. And I think even though in the earlier seasons he is kind of like a bad character because he's more on the side of Clay. If you actually look at it, I mean, he does those things because of his heart, because he loves Clay so much. And not because he has malice or anything bad. He's just loyal and has that in his heart.
He's just like a little dog, honestly. That's what I imagine T as. And I love that he's a freak, so...
Yeah, and that's why we're going to skip to Venus. Venus was so perfect to pair with him. I think Venus has to go in Perfect, too. I love that performance by Walton Joggins.
She really, like, brings out more of the comfortable freak in Tig and vice versa to him, offering that comfort for each other, finding each other. And
Yeah.
Just watching him, like, literally fall in love with her from the first time was so fucking funny, and I love both of them. So.
Yeah, I love that actor. His southern, like, drawl that he does, the way he talks and articulates himself, or herself, whatever. Yeah, that actor just sells the shit out of that. So, yeah, love it.
Tadarius.
Yeah, Tadarius. That's right.
I liked Tadarius. I liked him a lot. I think I would just put him in good though. But
I would have liked to like him more, considering how he's had like the big thing in the final episode to be patched over. But I don't know. Maybe I would need to pay more attention to him on a rewatch. But I just felt like we didn't quite see him enough. But
I liked him. I mean, I was indifferent about him when we first were seeing him, you know, with the bastards and stuff. But towards the end, I started to really like him. Yeah.
And then
Tyler. I liked Tyler too. I'd still stick him in good.
Yeah, I felt bad with all the shit that he had to deal with, but how he...
Yeah, I remember he didn't want to move up. He did not want to move up, and then they just fucking killed whoever was above him. I don't even remember. Lil Roy?
Yeah. And
they were like, well, here you go, buddy. If you don't want it, then, oh well.
Patterson?
I liked Patterson a lot. I
would say great. I mean, great or good. I really liked the actress's performance, and how... Even though Jax and Tara were fucking criminal scum to her, she still, like, had sympathy for them and tried to help them, almost like from a mothering place, you know, where she didn't want to see this family get fucked over. So,
I want to put her, like, in between both of them, because But yes, I did like her.
If we got Potter in good, I feel like she's got to get with Potter, too.
Yeah,
so.
I think so.
But yeah, I like the actress.
Answer. I'm going to put him in great.
Yeah, that's fair.
I really like Unser.
That's fair.
Lot.
I think some of the problems with Unser was, again, in Season 7, some of the writing, Unser felt a little bit too stupid, too slow to catch on to some stuff that what you would have expected.
I mean, maybe you can account that to he's been out of the game for a while. He's literally just living his best retired life. Even though it's a shitty life, you know, he's just vibing right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was frustrated. I'm almost like, come on, you are like the only person who would be smart enough to fucking put these pieces together. Like, you know it. But maybe he was just choosing to be blind because of how much love and care he had for Gemma.
Yeah.
But yeah, because he knew, he was like, I know that Gemma and Juice hooked up in some way that was not convenient for them. Like the way that they linked up and joined forces. You know, what is the missing piece? He just couldn't. Or didn't want to see that Tara's death was the missing piece. Yeah. So it was frustrating, but I still have a lot of sympathy for Unser, and he's almost like the sweet grandpa.
Yeah.
Just want to give him a kiss on the forehead.
As they call him, Uncle Touchy.
Uncle Touchy.
Yeah. And then Wendy. Wendy, kind of talked about her.
I like Wendy. I like Wendy a lot.
I'll just say good.
I would put her in between good and great. Like, I almost want to put her in great, but I just don't think she's quite there yet. But I do think, even though she didn't have a lot of screen time or a lot of, like, quite her own personality besides recovering junkie and trying to be a mom and Jax's ex, that's really the only personality she had. I still think that she had a lot of impact on the show.
I like her dynamic with Nero a lot.
Yes,
and
I really
that's good
like
because
that.
they're supposed to, because they end up, you know, not together, but, you know,
physically
codependent
together,
on
like,
one another. Yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah, don't remember.
Let's see. Jerry.
I'm gonna put her in good. I like Jerry, and I liked her with Chibs, obviously, but I also felt bad for her too because she was trying to work within them, but even that wasn't working. Working outside of them's not working. Like, nothing's working. So I feel the frustration, but I really like the conversation that she had with DA Patterson about, you know, how she still thinks that she was, even though her numbers were shit, she still thought that she was the best one for the job, that she was doing what she could with what she had. And I know that the Sons know that they put their police friends in a lot of trouble whenever they ask them to, and I know they pay them for that trouble, but I don't think they quite understand just how much heat that they catch from, you know, working with them. Unser, Jerry, all of them, I mean, they literally catch so much shit for not doing what they need to do, but it's not always because they can't or don't want to because of the Sons. It's like Hale said in the first, they always slip through the legal cracks. There's just nothing that you can do, so I couldn't imagine being that fucking frustrated because even in the first season, Unser tells Clay, is this how you treat an old friend? And he's like, that's how I treat an old cop.
Yeah.
So.
And I respect the way they ended up with Jerry too. I mean, her and Chibs just didn't have a happy ending. They both kind of like adults. Like, listen, this was fun, but this shit ain't gonna work out.
I'm the criminal and you're the cop. He said, we're not gonna go pick out fucking furniture and hold hands and talk about our days. It's not gonna happen.
It's funny, we got Jerry and then we got Jury.
Jury.
What do you think about Jury?
I feel bad for Jury, but I liked him. I think I would just put him in good, though.
Yeah. He was only like in a handful of episodes, but the impact that he had on the series for being Jax's kind of final demise, one of the many pieces, I guess, but one of the biggest pieces, was kind of elevates his character. And especially to see the contrast with whenever he first appears and Jax is, good and leaving it good, and then whenever he comes back, it's like, okay, Jax is completely on the other end of the spectrum, and I really enjoyed that contrast with Jury, and I like his final lines to Jax. I don't think he said anything wrong to him, or anything. Jax fucked him over, you piece of shit, screwed him over with his son. So he told Jax, I like that line,
I wanted to kill you.
Well, thank God, your dad isn't here to see what you've become, and. So then we come to Jax.
I almost don't want to put him in perfect, but I think I have to because 90% of his decisions, I can't say that I would have done differently being in the position that he was in.
Yeah.
I feel he was in so much pain, and although you didn't see him release that pain often, when you did, it was so hard-hitting and sad. He's a great actor. Like, talking to Juice in Stockton, holding Tara after he found her, like all that shit. I mean, it was tough.
His accent slips like crazy, but he really falls into that role over the course of the series and playing it well.
Yeah.
Of course we're looking from the moral perspective of the outlaw lifestyle here whenever we say Jax is a good character,
Right.
But from his perspective within that world, I think they did a great job with having him do. If Jax could do like 50 shitty, terrible things, and you can still be like, I liked him, I understand, then they were doing a good job writing him. And that is especially important for your main protagonist because, you have to. He's the whole catalyst for the story. Mayans, the spinoff, needs to learn from that because the main protagonist, they tried to turn him dark like Jax, but they've done it wrong where they haven't developed it correctly, so you just fuck him, who cares?
That's how I feel about Weeds, the main character in Weeds. She has a sad backstory of her husband dying, that's why she's doing these fucked up things, but I could just never get behind it. I just couldn't stand to fucking finish the goddamn show because I couldn't stand her, but I really like Jax. Obviously, he knows that he fucked up, and it was heartbreaking to know that everything that he did was based on a lie, and because he was just trying to make things right for his wife, but he accepted his fate and tried to revert those changes, fix everything that he fucked up. And realized that he wasn't a good guy. And he told Wendy and Nero, he said, I don't even want my sons, when they think of me, I want them to be like disgusted. Like, I don't want them in this involved. I don't want them to love me. Like, they don't need that, Yeah. And you have to have some kind of respect for him to do all of these things, put himself in these positions and break all these severed ties, but to also go back to the place where he knows that he fucked up and to fix it and to remove himself. And he did that for his sons, and he did that for the sons because he was caring about both of his families. So
I love that full circle story too. I mean, obviously that's just the whole point of the show, and which is I like, but I love the way his story comes full circle with his dad. Worst thing I can say about Jax is that I can't really ever justify whenever I think about it of all the stuff that he did was fucking whenever Tara went to jail and she was like about to leave him, understandably.
Oh, and he was fucking...
Yeah, she was going to leave him. That's the part that you missed though. She was going to leave you, Jax. That's fucked up. But let's stop and think, why was she going to leave you? Because you've been saying we're going to get out of the club, man, but you haven't been doing it. You've just been doing more and more bad shit.
Shit that gets you deeper in with the club at that.
So he's like, you know what? I'm going to go fuck Colette, man. Oh well about Tara. So, but yeah, apart from that, a very, very good job at keeping a protagonist sympathetic, despite all the horrible things that he did. So, yes, great show. Absolutely love every bit of it. So let us know what you thought of the list and who your favorite characters are, and right at an hour. Perfect. All right, so we'll cut it there. So thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.